let's look at Amazon because there's a pretty interesting setup right now. First off, read this disclaimer carefully. Then do your good deed of the day by liking and subscribing. So, here is Amazon, 73-ish% away from the 52-week low and pretty close here to the 52-week highs. So I don't really need to introduce Amazon. So what is pretty interesting at this point is that, let me draw here, so like that. We could be forming an absolutely gargantuan head and shoulders pattern. That would be like an epic, major head and shoulders pattern. If we zoom in a bit, then we see something else. So we, especially when we look here up, because the week is not over yet, going to the dailies, then we do have a relatively clean double topping pattern. So here's the top. The nice thing about the double top is that it's a pretty, it's a relatively like clean level to also put in a stop loss. So from this level, talking about like a maybe a 2% stop loss level. Not that big of a deal. Okay, so technically speaking, we have a somewhat bearish setup. Looking here at RSI weeklies. MACD is very much flirting here with a sell signal. RSI is still rather elevated, and historically, you do see that Amazon has a tendency to actually use the RSI range more dynamically. It's very rare for us to just get stuck up there in high RSI. Yeah, going to the dailies. Accumulation distribution here is not. Yeah, you see, yeah, well, there is actually some strength here in the recent move. So there is actually money behind it. RSI is elevated, but not like super elevated. However, when we look here at, okay, not like that, but like that, looking very long term, we do see that it's very common for Amazon to explore the lower region of RSI. It usually doesn't like get stuck up there. So let's go into my notes here. So it's in the megatrends, Amazon. So when it comes to like the signal, I would say double top. Pretty clear, double top pattern. As long as the double top is in play, I would say minus, maybe -7. It's such a clean level. When it comes to double tops in Amazon, it does have a bit of a history. So this isn't, it's not like a textbook double top pattern. But here, this confetti thing is really getting annoying. Is there any way to turn it off? Yeah. Okay. So, in this case, it wasn't really a double top pattern. So we do have quite a few times here where, okay, it's not a double top, but it's like two rallies and then a sell-off. So, and here as well. But in this case, the second rally, in this case, it went significantly higher, but there's a bit of a repeating pattern. So now let's go to seasonality. So the seasonality is just bearish. We are currently in September, 2.5% so far. Looking here at, if we go back to 2016, September has a strong tendency to be bearish. October is very unpredictable, for sure. It's a very erratic month. If you look here at the sum, it's a very weak month. So the seasonality here is frankly bearish. So the seasonality, I think I would give a solid 7 on seasonality as well. This is just not bullish. Next, we will look at the fundamentals. Okay, so when we look here at the volume bars, we see that there's quite some decent volume at the current level. So you do have that, and you also have a volume shelf here around, the 129-ish level. Looking at the fundamental indicators. So price book ratio, it's at a recent resistance level. The same thing with price to sales. You see that here and here, we got a sell-off at, a very similar level. So it's not simply that we have, technical analysts looking at, Amazon and considering some bearish strategies. Those who are into fundamentals, especially comparing, the security against itself, which is the best way to use fundamental analysis. In that case, yes, there are some bearish tendencies. Looking at the price targets, so you do have 45 analysts with a 1-year price target. And in that case, it's bullish. The average is 23% above us. So few are bearish, strong buy across the board. So that's bullish. So there's a bit of a mixed message on the fundamentals. What I think is most predictive is to, you look at what usually happens when the stock itself is touching a similar price book or price to sales or PE ratio. And in this case, I do think that it sort of skews it a bit bearishly. So I will give the bears -3. Next, we will look at relative performance. So Amazon, like that. So it makes sense to compare Amazon against the XLI, which is the consumer discretionaries, and also the XRT, which is the retail ETF. Like that. So these are long-term correlations. 34% positive with S&P 500, 82% with the XLI, and 69% with XRT. So stronger with consumer discretionary ETF. Short term, 95% with the S&P 500, 94% with XLI, and -4% with XRT. So that's pretty interesting. So what happens with the XLI is going to have the biggest effect on Amazon. So here's the XLI. You also see that since 2021, there was a very, very sharp fall here in the consumer discretionary space. Now there's been some return. I have no idea where this confetti is coming from. I'm actually using a bit of a premium tool. I'm using Epic Pen, and that one should be really, really good. Really odd that they have started with confetti. Okay. However, okay, so let me do it like this, like that. So you see that this pattern looks similar to this, and also this. So there are these repeating patterns in the XLI too. So this is not a double top pattern, but it's a pattern that we could certainly categorize as potentially bearish. Around the dailies, seasonality is bearish. Okay, so now let's compare Amazon with the XLI. Amazon with XLI. No, XLI. Like that. So we are at, a double top level here in this pair. We are not like overbought. You could be a contrarian and argue that we have an inverse head and shoulders pattern here. That is, it is a bullish pattern. But yeah, let's look at the dailies. And nothing really like special happening. It's sort of like there's not like a key event. Looking at the seasonality, we do have bearish tendencies into mid-ish October. September usually is a month where Amazon underperforms the XLI. October is also, it's looking at the sum, it's the second weakest month for Amazon in this pair. This definitively sort of skews us in a bearish direction. So yeah, -6 for the bears. So if you don't want to outright short Amazon, you do have these this ETF, AMZD and AMZD. So let's compare. Like if we go over here, and remove that one, and we can do some statistical analysis. So let's take the AMZU. That's the one if you are feeling a bit bullish. And then you do have the AMZD. AMZD. That is if you are bearish and you want like 1x. So this is not like a 3x, bearish ETF. It's just 1x. So we don't get any long-term correlations. Looking shorter term on the daily data points, perfect positive correlation with AMZU and perfect negative with AMZD. So that's very clean. What is the price now for AMZD? Yeah, you can go bearish on Amazon for like $20-ish. So if you look here at the stop loss levels, so you are only like getting 1x leverage. So it means that you could then operate with like let's say 1 point. Yeah, you could actually go with a 1.8% stop loss level. Maybe push it to 1.9, even 2. So the reason why you would want to push it maybe to a 2 as a stop loss is you don't want to get like annoyingly shaken out. What would be, of course, infuriating is that you're short Amazon basically, with either going short the stock or you go with the AMZD, or you can go into the options market. But anyway, so let's say that it goes up a bit, then you get stopped out, and then it goes down. That obviously would be annoying, but these things will occasionally just happen. So like the solution to that problem is definitively not to have like a 10% stop loss level and stuff like that. So yeah, I think that when we take it all together here with Amazon, I do think that there's more reasons to be bearish than bullish at this point. Yeah, what I really like here is that you can have a pretty tight stop loss level. There's multiple ways to express a bearish opinion on the security. We have a double top, minus 5.8 in favor of the bears. I think this is a pretty interesting bearish candidate. But yeah, I definitely would want to have like a stop loss level that is fairly tight. And I do think that like a minus, like a 1.8 stop loss level, that is, pretty fair. When it comes to like the overall portfolio that you have, that is also, of course, very important, to have ideally a more market neutral portfolio, some bearish trades, some bullish trades, and also always have like a stop level on the various positions. Yeah, that was all for this video, and have a great week ahead.